Hello, and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that was planning on telling you a time travel joke, but you didn't like it. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Back to the Future, Back in Time from Funko.
Did you know that the deepest in the ocean you can go is approximately 2,500 feet before your head explodes? Did you know that even if you swim a couple feet, there are sharks and piranhas and electric eels that would love for you to eat? Come now children, come and play and listen to the words I say. I do not mean to raise alarm, I just don't want you to come to harm. Did you know that some people think that Hitler isn't dead, and he's probably in your neighborhood waiting to crush your head? Did you know thieves and killers, they are all about waiting for you to drop.
In Back to the Future, Back in Time from Funko, 2 to 4 players take on the roles of either Marty McFly, Doc Brown, Jennifer, or Einstein as they attempt to heal the space-time continuum by making sure that George and Lorraine fall in love and that the DeLorean can get back in time. Bum, 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 gotta get back. The game board is a map of Hill Valley in 1955. You've got a lot of familiar places. You've got the Hill Valley High in the parking lot. You've got George's house, Lorraine's house, Doc Brown's house, Lou's Cafe. You've also got the town square and the clock tower, which also doubles as a cool dice tower. Now, each player has their own player board with a unique power just to them. You also have a number of tiles that have die on them that allow you to roll die for challenges, or you can simply spend that tile by moving 3 spaces. You've also got a turn tracker, which leads all the way to 10:04 p.m., the precise moment when the DeLorean must get back in time. Bum, 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 gotta get back in. You've also got a love tracker, which is the photograph of Marty and his siblings. Now, this photograph will start to disappear if George and Lorraine don't fall in love in time. Now, you're going to go ahead and place George in George's house, Lorraine in Lorraine's house. You've got your heroes in the town square, and Biff is at the clock tower. Now, you're going to place the DeLorean on one side of the board at the parking lot of the high school, and it's going to try to make its way all the way around toward the street where it can make its travel back to the future. And then you've also got a number of items that the DeLorean will need that will need to be collected so that the DeLorean can do that. Then you will also put out some opportunity cards. These are some challenges you can try to do that will give you some bonuses that will help you in the game. And then what you're going to do is on your turn, you're going to move the turn tracker ahead once. The turn tracker is going to tell you what kind of cards you need to put out or draw that turn. First of all, you're going to put out some trouble cards, and there's different tiers of trouble cards. Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3, they get progressively more difficult. And what that means is you have a certain challenge at a location that you have to defeat in order to overcome that and get rid of that negative effect that's going on. You're also going to draw a movement card. Now, movement cards typically are going to tell you how far and where to move George and Lorraine. Usually it's clockwise, counterclockwise, a number of spaces around the board. There's also going to be Biff heads. Now, every time a Biff head comes up, that means Biff is going to move to who's ever closest, George or Lorraine. Now, every time Biff is in the same space as George and Lorraine, that means you're going to go ahead and if another Biff head is rolled while they're there or comes up while they're there, you're going to go ahead and lower the love track, making it more difficult for George and Lorraine to fall in love. Players then are going to go ahead and take their actions. Now, as I say, there's things you're trying to accomplish. You are trying to collect the items you need to make the DeLorean so it can work. And you've got to go to those locations and roll green die to get the tech symbol in order to get those items like gasoline and so forth, to put those in Doc Brown's house, because the DeLorean's going to go there first. Now, if you're in the same space as the DeLorean, you can roll yellow die to try to get the movement symbol to get the DeLorean moving on its way. And then if you're in the same space as George and Lorraine, you can roll the love dice, which essentially, if you roll hearts, then that moves them up the love track, but they have to be in the same space. Now, you can also move, and when you're moving, you can actually take George and Lorraine with you. You can have them, one or the other, escort with you in order to get to the same space so that you can get them to fall in love. Now, if you're in the same space as Biff, you can roll the blue die, and if you roll stars, you essentially knock him down. If you roll more than one, you put tokens next to him. And that way, whenever a Biff token comes up, you remove the tokens, you stand him up before he can start moving again. Now you're also going around trying to take out those trouble cards and trying to get those opportunity cards. Now typically, like I said, the opportunity cards oftentimes will give you sometimes items that will help you or other things that will help you. But typically when you defeat a trouble card or you complete an opportunity card, and then you would put out a new opportunity card every time you solve the challenge of one, you usually are rewarded by drawing a new power tile. So you draw a power tile, which you put on your board, and these power tiles, again, maybe let you roll more than one dice, or they let you alter dice in certain ways, or do things. It just makes you more powerful. There's almost a deck building aspect to it. Now, each die, in addition to having the symbols you need and the biff heads on them, which you can roll, which are dangerous, they also have wilds, and a wild can count for anything, so you could roll a die that wasn't even the right color, and if you get the wild, it still counts for what you're trying to do. Now, as you're going around trying to complete these challenges, when the turn marker gets to certain times, you're going to do a check on the love meter. If George and Lorraine are not in love, you're going to flip over one of Marty's siblings' pictures, and they start to disappear. Of course, if everybody disappears, you're screwed. But hopefully, you're trying to move that love meter up far enough so once they're in love, that's not going to happen. They're not going to flip over. But there's maybe some effects and some things on the turn tracker that make you flip over 2 of those. And if you're ever in the negative numbers and that comes up, you will flip over 2 of those. So you got to be very careful and make sure that they fall in love. So you're going around and around, you're trying to collect the items you need for the DeLorean and to get it moving and to try to get George and Lorraine to fall in love while keeping Biff at bay and while dealing with all these troubles that pop up from time to time. Now, you're racing against the clock because as soon as it gets to 10:04, if the DeLorean is not in one of 3 spaces toward the end of the track, then you lose. If George and Lorraine don't fall in love by that time, then you lose. But if you can complete all of these challenges and get everything where it needs to be by the 10:04 p.m., then you and your friends collectively win Back to the Future, Back in Time. So I got to tell you, I'm a huge fan of the Back to the Future films. When I was a kid, they were my favorite. I absolutely loved them. And this game does a fantastic job of capturing the theme of the first Back to the Future film. Now, a few months ago, I reviewed the Ravensburger Back to the Future game. I'm not going to do a comparison here. I will have a video coming out before too long that kind of compares the games and tells you what I think about each of them, but I'm not going to mention the other game in this review. I'm just going to review Back in Time on its own merits. Like I say, fantastic theme, first of all. It really captures the theme. I think it does a really good job of capturing the theme here. This is a very interesting game on a lot of levels because there's a lot of things going on. And there's a lot of stuff being thrown at you. So really, this is kind of a management control, right? Managing the negative things that are happening while trying to find those opportunities to do positive things and to move the love tracker forward, to move the DeLorean forward. And it really works well with those decisions. And part of that is the fact that you can upgrade your character. The part of it is that you can make your character more powerful with the new power tokens that you draw. You can replace some of the older ones. There's space for new ones, but then you can replace some of the older ones as the game progresses. You can get those items when you do the opportunities, which make you more powerful. So even as the game seems very daunting at first, you are leveling up. You are getting more powerful as the game progresses. And the key to this game, fundamentally, is working together. You need to work together. I played this game, I think, 3 times now. I've won 1 game. I've lost 2, so it's a tough game, but it is winnable. I think it is a whole lot of fun. I have no hesitation in recommending this game if you like the Back to the Future and if you like a good, tough, cooperative game that is kind of reminiscent of Horrified because, again, it's from Prospero Hall's the design team that designed Horrified, and they designed all these games for Ravensburger, but they didn't design the Back to the Future game for Ravensburger, which is kind of weird. I don't know how that happened. But I really, really like the way this game played out. I really like what this game did and how it evokes that theme and how it makes it very fun and very not a difficult game at all to learn or to play. So recommendation for the discriminating gamer for Back to the Future Back in Time unhesitatingly is buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We are The Discriminating Gamer. And I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I recently invented a time machine myself. I wanted to disprove the grandfather paradox, so I went back in time and I murdered my own grandfather. Turns out I was adopted.
Somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long
please, please, please like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube, or Sean will come to your house and cause all sorts of problems with your dog.
You will.